able to make it today. All right, great. So I'm turning it over to you, Kylie.
Okay, wonderful. So I will share my screen. Give me 1 second. Okay. So thanks for being here. I'm here today to talk to you about the Japan Exchange and Teaching Program, which is also known as JET. So hi, my name is Kylie. I am originally from California. I was born and raised here, but I actually went to college at the University of Hawaii. And after I graduated, I joined the program and I was there for 5 years. I was placed in Hokkaido and I was an ALT from 2017 to 2022. I just recently came back. That is an accurate point on this map. It's actually the northernmost city, which is actually called Wakkanai. So I was basically at the top of all of Japan. So what is JET? JET is one of the world's largest English teaching programs. And what's great about JET is that it's actually sponsored by the Japanese government. Other English teaching programs are not. So there is a stability behind the JET program. And what's great is it basically helps to increase the understanding, mutual understanding between the people of Japan and the other nations. So you would naturally go to Japan to teach English, but there is an E, which stands for exchange. And basically what we hope for you to do is take all of your cultural knowledge, all of your cultural background, use that to take it with you to Japan and basically exchange cultures at the grassroots level. Again, on this slide, I just like to emphasize that the program is sponsored by the government, so it does have a backbone, so it's actually pretty stable. So the JET program is a paid full-time job. This is not a study abroad. This is not a volunteer program. Like if you were on a study abroad and something happened, it would fall back to your school. Obviously, since this is a job, everything will fall back onto you. You are going to be responsible for yourself. However, it is a great opportunity for cultural exchange. You'll be fully immersed in the Japanese culture. You'll be living there, working there. So it's going to be a great experience. And due to that, you can actually have a lot of growth personally and professionally. There are 2 positions that we have with JET, the assistant language teacher, also known as the ALT, and the coordinator for international relations, which we call CIRs. I'll first talk to you about the assistant language teacher position. They make up about 90% of our participants. There are 2 types of placements that you can actually be put in, school-based and rotating. School-based basically means that you will be stationed at a school. That will be your home base. So this can be a home base in elementary, junior high, or even senior high school. A rotating ALT means you're based out of a Board of Education, also known as a BOE. And naturally, the Board of Education is not a school, so you would actually have to go and travel to the schools in your town or city. Do not get the wrong impression. School-based ALTs can also be asked to go to the other schools in town. It depends on the relationship the school has with the other schools in town. So don't get the wrong idea. School-based ALTs and rotating ALTs can actually be asked to travel to the other schools as well. So basically what we hope for you to do is to team teach with your Japanese teacher of English. We call them JTEs. And using your cultural background, your cultural knowledge, use it to motivate your students. Find something of interest for the students that you can connect with them and use it to actually motivate them to want to learn English, to want to be involved with the class. Again, if you use things like that, it makes teaching a lot easier on you and a lot more fun for them. So if you can find that, naturally, it's going to make class a lot better. You can actually be asked to plan or even assist in planning with lesson plans. Some teachers may have you make one whole lesson plan. Others might have you make a section of a lesson plan. So that depends on your Japanese teacher of English. Naturally create teaching materials and even work with students on projects such as English speech contests and English clubs. Do not be surprised if the teachers do ask you to become a judge for the speech contest. Your English will be native level, theirs will not. So they will rely on you for those. Again, students love to see you getting involved. Your coworkers love to see you getting involved in interacting with the kids. So it's great all around. These responsibilities are not limited and they will vary. based on the class that you are teaching and your relationship with your Japanese teacher of English, and also your school. Sometimes your school might actually ask you to do more. So these are not limited. The next position we have available is the coordinator for international relations. They make up about 10% of our JETs, so a smaller group. They work primarily in the local government offices. And because of that, they need to have a very strong command of the Japanese language. If you know the Japanese language proficiency test, also known as JLPT, there are 5 levels, and 5 being the lowest and 1 being the highest. For this position, you would need about an N1, N2 level, so a higher Japanese command. However, they do work in the government offices and interact with Japanese people every day. Therefore, it is a strong commitment for the Japanese speaking abilities and just overall language command. There is a wide range of duties that they have. These are not limited again. It can be anywhere from the basic translation interpretation all the way to giving cultural presentations to the local community. Again, these can change based off of what your government office needs of you and also your Japanese abilities. Some CIRs actually do follow their diplomat around to help them with translations. Others might be involved in, say, making or helping with setting up the marathon in their cities. So again, it really depends on what demand is there at the government office that you would be stationed at. No surprise, the last point here is actually teach English. Government offices do want their employees to be able to speak English due to the fact that English is a language used around the world. So you might actually still be requested to teach English to your coworkers. So don't be surprised with that. Your work hours and holidays, you have a typical work week from Monday to Friday, about 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 or 5, 35-hour work week. You get at least 10 days of paid vacation per year and 16 days of paid national holidays per year as well. These are the salary amounts that you would be making during the time you are on the program. As you can tell, the amounts increase each year that you are there, except for year 4 and 5, where it remains the same. These amounts are comfortable living in Japan. You will not struggle with it at all. However, naturally, if you're going out clubbing every night, going to bars every night, drinking and buying everything in sight, naturally things like your money will not last. So it would not be very comfortable living at that amount. So if you're smart with your money, naturally, you can easily live very comfortably in Japan and also still be able to travel with no struggles to your financial situation. But again, that's going to fall back on you and how you are managing your money. We do recommend, when you do consider the program, to think of a max of 3 years instead of 5. Year 4 and 5 are usually for our exceptional cases. So we do recommend you going in with a mindset of a maximum of 3 years. If you happen to get year 4 and 5 and you want to take it, awesome, go ahead. But yeah, we do recommend you thinking of a max of 3 years when you start the program. When you do get accepted, your transportation to Japan is covered by us. And when you finish your time on the program and you decide to come back to America, that flight as well will be covered by us. So you won't have to pay for anything with relation to that. Any transportation you do in between those 2 times naturally will be covered by yourself. When you start working, you will be enrolled in the National Health Insurance as well. It's a terrific insurance. These are the current eligibility criteria for the current year. So don't take dates into mind for this slide. 2 of the important things that you must have is, because we are the U.S. branch of the JET program, you must be a U.S. citizen. If you are not a U.S. citizen, we do recommend you applying for the JET program in your home country at the consulate or embassy of Japan in your home country. The second thing that you must have is a bachelor's degree. If you do graduate in the spring, don't let that deter you. All you would need to do is obtain a letter of expected graduation date or expected graduation. And you can get that from your registrar's office. And basically that shows that you will be graduating and you will have your diploma before the June cutoff date. And it's usually the end of June that we have that cutoff date. Naturally, we want to make sure you are in good mental and physical health. You will be living abroad. So please be honest with yourself when it comes to this. Again, you will be living abroad. Please keep that in mind. Some of the other points will change depending on when you apply, so don't take these too seriously. However, please keep those in mind. Naturally, you will be an English teacher, so excellent written and verbal English skills are a must. And you will be living in Japan, so having a strong interest in Japan and Japanese culture will help you a lot. CIRs, if you do consider this position, must have strong Japanese ability. Again, please ignore the 2 actual dates unless you are applying for the current year. If you are applying for future, usually our applications open in late September, so please keep checking back. And then they do close about early to mid-November. So you will have a certain time frame in which you can apply. We do tell you to apply as soon as possible when the application is open. There will be documentations that you will need to obtain, as well as 2 letters of recommendations that you will need to request from your teachers or your employers. So please keep that in mind if you do decide to apply, that you will need 2 letters of recommendation as well. If you move on past the application phase, we do hold interviews late January to early February. The announcements of those results would be in March. If you do get selected to be on the program, you would be notified of your placement in May. We continue to work with you to prepare you to leave between June and July. And usually at the end of July, you depart from the US to go to Japan. Please look at jetprogramusa.org for the most up-to-date information for the time that you think that you will consider applying. Again, those timelines will apply for the time that you want to apply. These are for the current year. Just to show you some pictures of my time on the program. I, again, like I said, was stationed at the northernmost city of all of Japan. This is actually the northernmost point of all of Japan. There is a monument there. And what's interesting about this monument is during winter, sometimes you can actually see some like some small icebergs out there. So it's really interesting. I did like taking pictures of nature. So there are some nature pictures here. This is Sapporo TV Tower. I believe that's what it was called. In Sapporo, again, Sapporo is a terrific city if you ever get to go there. They also have snow like sculptures during February, I believe, that are displayed usually. The middle picture is actually my school, or I should say the backside of it. The reason why I took the backside of it is because you can see the lovely island off the coast, which is named Rishiri. If you look the opposite direction, you can actually see the ocean. So it was a terrific area. Although I call it a city, it was more of a rural city because there were more people than there were actual like shopping areas, shopping buildings, shopping centers, even just shops in general. So it was a rural city, but it was a terrific place to be. And I had such a great time. And the people were wonderful there. They take care of you and they're so fascinated by you just being there. So again, don't think rural areas are a dread. They are fascinating areas and you can learn so much of it, so much history and culture behind that area. While I was on the program, I did go through 2 rounds of JETS myself. It's a terrific program. You will meet people from not only around America, but also around the world. It is a global program, so there are people from everywhere. And it's a terrific thing to like meet people on. Naturally, met people from all over America, met people from Canada, people from the Philippines, and even somebody from South Africa. So I never thought I would meet somebody from there. And their history and their culture is truly fascinating. I did get involved with our local community. I got involved with a hula circle. I did learn hula while I was studying in Hawaii. So I did get involved with our hula circle in town. I learned a lot from them. They learned a lot from me. And again, it's a terrific opportunity to learn things outside of your school. You're learning different things from culture to different history. So again, it's a great opportunity to interact with everybody. I also took part in a radio program at one point. So that was an interesting experience because I never had that before. Again, this would depend on basically what experience you happen to get. This is not a guarantee, naturally. And then our summer festivals had, or our school summer festivals had fireworks, and it was always a great time to interact with my students and just basically have a nice time and see the students relax and actually have fun. So we always enjoyed that. Not saying all schools do fireworks, but at least mine did. Going back to my last photo here, when you graduate, naturally, you get a flower lei made out of plumeria flowers. Unfortunately, I knew flowers die, so I actually learned ribbon leis when I was in Hawaii, and these are a real thing. And it's basically a lei made out of ribbon. I made it for my first graduating class. I was stationed at a high school, and my students love them. My coworkers love them, and my school officials loved them so much that they kept asking me to make them. So there are 5 different sets there for the 5 years that I was there. They basically represent my students. Unfortunately, naturally, I can't show you my students due to confidentialities, but those stand there. And again, that's why I do encourage you to take whatever cultural knowledge you have. You would be surprised at what things they actually ask you to keep doing, because for them, it's a fascinating aspect that they never had before. That is our official website at the top, jetprogramusa.org. The next is my contact information. That is I work at the Consulate General of Japan in Los Angeles. That is our phone number, and that is the email that you can reach me at. If you have questions in the future, please feel free to email me at any time. Also, please feel free to follow Jet Program on Facebook and Twitter for the most up-to-date information and even helpful hints. Okay, so I will stop the share.
Looks like there's a question in the chat.
Okay. Open the chat. So I just explained what the colorful strings were, so I think we're okay with that. Did you encounter any Russians or Ainu in Hokkaido? Yes, actually. Where I was specifically was very close to an island that comes down from the north. So there were Russian people who lived in Wakanai, where I was stationed, and they were very polite and very welcoming. And from time to time, obviously not recently, but before the current situation, there was a dance troupe that would come and actually perform at one of our hotels for everyone to see traditional Russian dancing. It was really fascinating. And it was also fascinating to hear them also speak. So yeah, I did encounter Russians where I was. I knew people are in a lot of places. I did not get to meet one personally, but I did get to see a few around in different parts of Hokkaido. Where I was, I didn't meet too many.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Are there any other questions for Kylie? I'm sure you miss it quite a bit, Kylie,
Oh yeah,
after coming home and after 5 years.
Yes. So is there a specific kind of TEFL certification that the program prefers? No, actually. We actually, there is no requirement to have English teaching ability or Japanese ability. However, if you do decide to obtain a TEFL certification, we do not have a program that is more preferred. basically just choose a program that works for you. And if the program happens to encompass Japan, I would definitely say probably aim for that. But again, we don't have a program that is preferred for it. Do you have language exchange with Spain or Mexico? I don't believe we do.
Any other questions? All right. Well, if there's nothing else, then we'll just say thank you so much, Kylie, for sharing this information with us. We'll have the recording so we can share it with others, and hopefully we'll get some more folks interested.
Yes.
Thanks everyone for coming today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, Carmen wants to
Sure.
you to post your telephone. Great. You got it, Carmen? Perfect.
Wonderful.
All right. Have a good rest of your evening, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Kylie, can I ask you one more question?
Absolutely.
Oh, I read this on Wikipedia. There was a time, like in the mid 18th century, was there a part of Hokkaido in Russia kind of broke off, became the Republic of Azo? Is that? I just read that in Wikipedia, and I've found no confirmation of it.
Sorry,
For
could you
a short,
repeat that one more time?
it was just a matter of months, I think. Have you ever heard of that there? Or they called it the Republic of Azo. It sounded like it was just kind of broke off from Japan, and it was actually part of Russia too, I think. That doesn't. It's on Wikipedia, so that's it. I use that as an example in my classes of not trusting Wikipedia right away. So I'm always trying to look for another source to find, but nobody I've talked to has heard of it. So
yeah, I'm not sure if I've actually heard of it either, to be honest. And even the people, when I interacted with the people where I was at, they never made it sound like it was ever part of Russia at all.
Or not another country, nothing. Okay.
Yeah, no. I think there are naturally islands off the coast, which are
kind of
well, they're debated. They're debated. Because
what's the Kyuru Islands or something north of Hokkaido?
Yeah. So in Japan, the north above where I was, there's like an islands that are a land that comes down like this, and it's called Saharin, or at least that's how it's pronounced in Japanese. And it is currently being controlled by Russia.
Yeah.
But Japan still like claims it as theirs. So naturally there is a debate with that. However, obviously, because it is under Russian control, Japan can't really do anything about obtaining it back. And then there are the islands off the East Coast that are also being debated, and those are being, according to Japan, those are being illegally occupied by Russia. And that was, I believe it was during World War II, Russia had obtained those islands and were there. And they were supposed to return them to Japan, but they never did.
Oh, okay.
So they're currently being debated, and both officials from Japan and Russia were talking until this war happened. And then when the war happened, talks were broken off because
Yeah.
Russia saw that Japan was siding with the Western countries. And so it's very much not really like sure what's going to happen with those
Yeah.
islands. Naturally, Japan wants them back because
Yeah.
it is still their islands
Yeah.
and they are being illegally occupied. But again, it is debate worthy in terms of what country you talk to for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. If there's nothing else, then we'll close it out. All right. Great. Thank you, Kylie.
Thank you so much, Laura. Have a
All
wonderful
right.
day.
Thanks, you too.